Greetings enlightened ones, thank you for joining your generic store brand Reverend. In today's video, we're going to be going over day 4 of my beginner's acting courses. And real briefly, I do apologize, I do have some kind of illness going on right now. I have a really scratchy throat. I don't have a sore throat and I don't have any other symptoms, but for whatever reason, I've just been holding on to this really scratchy throat thing that I've been having. I kind of felt a little shitty when I woke up this morning. I don't know what this shit is, but I'm probably not going to make this a very lengthy video just because I'm trying to rest my voice, because even though it's not a sore throat, it still kind of hurts to talk. To get right straight into the video, so this time went really fucking good, on the exception that I did fumble a little bit on my audition practice for Nefarious. I told you guys in my post that I was going to do that portion of the script, and I did a pretty good job. I impressed my classmates, but by the time I got to the final sequence where he goes, "More to the point, James," you can't even feel when it's happening to you. And then he goes, "As for winners and losers, well, that gets determined at the time of death." And then he says, "Those numbers are a closely well-guarded secret, but there are more of you entering into my master's house than with the enemy. A lot more, Jimmy." For whatever reason, that part of the sequence I completely blanked out when I got towards the end of the video. And I do have a video of this performance. My instructor wanted us to make our own version. I did still copy some things that the original actor did, but she told me to make it my own. So the way that I interpret it was, I don't know if you guys ever watched like Constantine, the movie with Keanu Reeves, but I thought of like a demon wearing a suit and he talks more elegantly, though it's weird because it didn't really come out the same way when I tried performing, and I think a lot of that was just anxiety. But it's funny because if I were to have redone it in the class again, I think a lot of that anxiety would have just went away. I feel like I need a warm-up. Like, I need a warm-up to talk into a camera, and then when I can do it again a second time, that anxiety just kind of gets lifted, and then I can produce and perform at my best. But at any rate, it went really well. We didn't go over too much in class. We went over basically how to concentrate when you are actually being filmed, because I had asked her, I'm like, I have a problem where I blank out on my lines, even though I have them memorized, I'm ready to go, but for whatever reason I blank out. And she told me, what you need to do is you need to create a level of focus. So you create what they call apparently as a fourth wall. So you close yourself into a box and you don't pay attention to anything around you, and you focus in on one particular thing. So in this situation, if it's a back and forth between two characters, maybe you're focusing on the character's nose, or you're focusing on something about them, but you're not really looking at them. That's how you remain in concentration with the script and what it is you should be saying, but at the same time, while you're doing that, you also need to be paying attention to what it is the other character's telling you, to process it and then deliver your lines. So, but as you're giving the script, you open yourself up more and more and more of the room as you're delivering your lines, to the point where the wall gets lifted and you feel more comfortable with your environment. It's funny because when you're standing, there's more pressure, and it's because it's the way that we are, I guess, as human beings. I don't fucking know, but so there's more pressure when you are standing and trying to give lines. I saw it firsthand in class today. I actually seen some of my classmates struggle to deliver some lines when they were standing. It's like they completely forgot to, and it's almost like the same thing that I experienced last week when I tried to do my Henry Kane audition, which I am going to be redoing that because I'm so ashamed of how I did that now that I have my backdrop, I got my softbox and everything, though I know the backdrop looks very unprofessional and it's messy. I'm going to fix that. I got a steam iron. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I'm going to make that look a little more professional over there. But I want to redo that scene with the way that I would have done it, and probably do like 2 different versions where I act exactly like Julian Beck, and then the next version would be me and how I would do it as, well, me, not copying or imitating. If it's one thing I know how to do, it's like, I don't know if you call that acting, it's more imitating. Like, I know how to imitate a lot of actors, and I know how to imitate a lot of things. I'm almost like a mimic or imitator I know there's a lot of people that do the same thing. I don't know if that's necessarily a talent. I guess in its own right it is, because you know how to adjust your vocals and you know how to pick up on key things that certain actors do to pretty much replicate them, right? But um, sometimes I can kind of struggle to create a character. Um, Usually I reference things, which is not a bad thing because that's what you should do. Yeah, movies for actors are kind of like textbooks. Watching movies, watching other actors and how they perform, and taking a little bit of everything from differing movies, acting techniques, things that actors do, character traits, and then putting them together to make another new, entire different character. It's basically reference, is what it is. And then we went over more keyword type of things, and what I mean by keywords, if you guys have watched the previous installments of these videos, it's, you know, where you give emphasis to a word. Contrast acting as well. So contrast acting is basically where you're smiling but you're mad. It's an opposite emotion of what it is you're feeling. So, you know, let's say somebody's interrogating you, right? They're pointing out all your fallacies. They're basically fact checking you or whatever it may be, and you're getting irritated. So you, no, that's not it at all. I mean, I don't know what it is you're talking about. What I just did right there is pretty much what contrast acting is. So we went a little bit over that and watched some demonstrations of how that's done. Then we also picked up on some key subtle things to let the audience know about specific things that actually kind of would go over your head if you're not paying attention to key things. For example, I forgot what movie it was that we were watching, but this gentleman was touching a piano as he's walking to the door, like he's sliding his hand, gliding his hand across it. That's basically to indicate to the audience that this is possession. This is someone that's possessive over a particular thing. You could see that with a car as well. Like, say you got a brand new, I'm a big Mustang kind of guy, so got a brand new Ford Mustang, you're touching it, you're really feeling the paint, the gloss in it, and how it's just smooth, you know, that new car type of thing, right? That is to indicate to the audience that that is a level of possession. So I thought that was kind of interesting, key little things to let the audience know a particular thing without letting you know about it. It's more like background things. And then also, when you are walking and you're delivering lines, you should always, I guess this is just a film industry thing, I suppose, but if you ever watch movies and they're walking, they're starting to walk, they don't deliver their lines until about, they count to 3. So they'll start walking, count 1, 2, 3, and then they start to deliver their lines. I never asked, I don't know exactly why it is that this is a thing. I think it's to probably get focus on the character, using the camera, obviously, and to ensure that we know who it is that's talking as they're walking. I'm not entirely sure. But apparently that is just kind of like what, apparently it's a standard thing. So if you watch other movies, you're going to pick that up, where characters don't actually begin to talk as they're walking and the camera's following them until about 3 seconds. So that's kind of an interesting little thing. And then another thing that I don't know if it's like an industry thing or a standard thing that you have to do in terms of acting, but and I don't understand the reasoning for it, but it's kind of like the walking thing, where to blink on camera, you can't directly blink, I guess, at the person it is you're talking to, or while the camera's looking at you, or I don't really know how to best describe this. Like, let's say I'm looking at a character at this glance, right? And we're conversing back and forth. You don't want to blink at all, and you want to stay fixated on them. And if you do need a blink, I suppose you have to kind of look away. You kind of look away and you blink. I don't know what the reasoning is for that. I find that kind of interesting. I don't know if it was that she was talking about a certain situation in terms of like how the conversation's happening, and it's more of just to be in character. But the person kind of turns their head and like blinks, glances, or whatever, and then stays back in focus with the character in which they're talking to. I still don't understand that. I understood it in the moment, but then as I'm talking to you and telling you guys about it, I don't really understand it again. So weird little quirks, I guess, to filmmaking. In terms of being an actor, you have to make sure that you follow these little rules or something in terms of the filmmaking industry. So weird. anyways, I'm going to show you my in-class representation of Nefarious, or otherwise Edward Wayne Brady, from the 2023 film Nefarious. In these lines, it's actually going to be Nefarious. It's technically not Edward Wayne Brady, even though they're the same person. Obviously, that's the entity that we're talking about. But I'm going to narrate the end of it where you guys see me choking up. The thing is, the key is, I understood while I was delivering my lines not to stop myself, and I was thinking about that subconsciously, like, hey, you're choking up, don't just keep fucking pushing through, grab some kind of line that you remember from that sequence. And so I jumped just straight to the end to just finish it off. If I can't figure out what my next lines are from that sequence, and I just got at least something that I could remember to work off of, I'm just going to do that, and that's exactly what I did here. So you didn't see me stop myself and go, fuck, can we do it again or some shit, because I was already towards the end. So that was good of me. That's the only thing I can pat myself on the shoulder for, at least. Whereas to not stop yourself and just to keep pushing on through. But you'll see that, and we'll narrate it, and you'll see how bad I choke. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check it out.
I think I love you, James. Literacy. You have high school graduates reading at a 6th grade level. Basketball players making $30 million whilst decrying of racism, wearing sneakers made of slave labor. And since we're on that subject, you have over 40 million slaves currently inhabiting this planet. That's more than the Romans had at the height of their empire. You want to know the funny part about it, though? Half, James, half of them are sex slaves. And as for hate speech, well, we didn't even come up with that one. You came up with that one yourself. Sometimes you amaze even us. Bottom line is, James, it's over, it's done, it's finished. And we've been doing this to you your entire life. And now, there's evil everywhere, and yet nobody seems to give a shit. Proving that we've achieved our ultimate goal through your television, your media, your entertainment. We've skewed your worldview, shifted and desensitized you to the point where you don't even know what's fact from fiction anymore. But more to the point, James.
All right, right here is where you're going to see me ultimately choke and just try to use filler to try to figure it out enough to what it is I need to fucking get through. So, a little painful, but we're going to push through this. And eventually I just gave up and went, you know what, let's just push through the end so that way we can at least finish this off. So, I got most of my lines delivered at least, but without further ado, let's see this train wreck right here.
You don't understand that you know, that the fact of the matter is there are more of you entering into our master's house, more than into the enemy's, a lot more. End scene.
So yeah, that was my representation of Nefarious. My classmates seem to have enjoyed it, so I'm I'm always thankful when I can impress people, because that's something that I aspire to do as a, I guess, aspiring actor, is to impress people with the way that I can deliver things, my facial expressions. I talk about, I talk about it all the time. That's something that I really enjoy doing when it comes to acting. It's a lot of facial expression work, and when I had seen this scene and how he does his facial expressions, it was something like I fell in love with, and I think that's why the acting in this movie is so good, is because it's all in the face. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video. A little couple things just to take note of before we end it here. It's more like updates. So yeah, as you guys can see, I do have my backdrop here, so it's pretty, as mentioned, it's very unprofessional and messy. It's got creases all over it, so I did buy an iron. I'm going to start ironing it out, getting it more proper. I do have a softbox. I do have another one too. It's actually in the closet. So I actually have 2 softboxes. I didn't even know I purchased 2 softboxes. I thought I only purchased one, but apparently I purchased another one. So whatever, fuck it. I'm going to try to utilize it if I need it. But I think one is just fine. This is a very small room. I live in a very small fucking shit shack, so it's really hard to move this shit around. Hopefully in the future I can afford a more affordable apartment, but I digress. Yeah, so all that's there. I do want to start doing exactly what I told you I want to do. I'm going to be doing, obviously, my Henry Caine re-audition, whatever you want to call it, basically representing Julian Beck, and then doing my own version of it. I really want to do that eventually. and then body animating, facial expressions, copying other things too, doing my own takes on things and spins too. It gives me experience, you know, when I'm doing these things, taking things while basically performing. It just gives me my own personal experience, voiceover work, all that kind of shit. And then the other thing is lighting quality in here. Yeah, so I apologize. I made it actually super dark in here on purpose because if I put too much light in here, then too much noise starts happening with this webcam. I own a Logitech Brio, not the MX Brio, but the tier before it. And I don't know how people get this webcam to perform the way it does. It's dog shit. I'm sorry, but I fucking hate Logitech products now. My whole computer setup used to be Logitech products, and I was a fanboy of Logitech until the quality of their shit started diminishing. Their keyboards are fucking junk. The only thing Logitech has that's really good, and I would still use it today, if not now I've swapped to Corsair shit, is the G502, which was their mouse, whatever. The G502 was a really good mouse, but their mice are really good, but everything else from Logitech has become just Chinese junk. This webcam is a perfect example of it. I fuck with settings all day long. It is in a USB 3.0, so it is in a pretty fast USB port. It doesn't matter. No matter what settings I'm messing with, lighting for that matter, I've moved these soft boxes around to try to get the best lighting, and then it just gets overexposed or the graininess is still there. It doesn't matter what kind of lighting it is, and if I take auto exposure off, it becomes too dark in here, even though I have all these lights going on. It's just a really junky webcam. I plan on upgrading this webcam eventually. I just haven't decided what I want to purchase. I'm thinking about the Elgato, because a lot of people seem to really like the Elgato, and you can put filter lenses on it, so that's something I'm very much interested in, so that way I can get rid of this piece of shit. Because I do want to improve the quality of my just, you know, one-on-one with you guys. I got a decent mic. Even the mic is kind of, this Yeti mic I actually broke, and I had to fix it myself at one point. And now the Logitech software doesn't pick up this mic anymore because I ripped the USB port out of it. This was a couple of years ago. And then I bought the USB port and soldered it back onto the circuit board in the mic, but now Logitech doesn't recognize it because I guess there's some sort of marrying with that Logitech USB that I broke. So now that this is like some Chinese fucking USB port, I guess they can't communicate anymore with the software. So you see shit like that all the time with cell phones where like you can't put an aftermarket screen on it. It's married to the fucking circuit board and shit, so it's no different from this piece of crap. So a lot of fucking tech equipment that I really need to get. I just don't have the money for right now, but I digress. I eventually want to upgrade this shit. It's just a matter of financing, and well, at least I do have the main component here. I'm just going to be using my cell phone to record myself. I don't have a fancy camera to do all this shit, but you know, I think I'm not a big, I don't upgrade my phone very often, so I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. It still does the job phenomenally. I do have a little lav mic too, so I'll probably either use the lav mic. Lastly, as far as the Outlast trial documents go too, I haven't forgotten about them. I know it's been about a week since I last uploaded one. I do have one that's already done and ready to go. Voiceover work's done. I just haven't edited it yet. The other thing is too, I'm probably not going to be doing another one for a little while because my voice is really fucked up right now, but expect that to come out within the next couple of days. I'm probably not going to edit it tonight. But during the work week, I think I'm going to go ahead and post that here very soon as well. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.